Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with the next topic of your first chapter, that is comparing nations and states. In this topic we will come to know about that how various countries or the nations and states are compared with each other. Now the main parameter for comparing the nations and states is taken as the income, which we have studied earlier also, that is per capita income or the average income. We will come to know about that which nation or which state is having the high income or the high per capita income or the low per capita income, on the basis of which a country or a nation will be regarded as a rich country, a low income country, or a high or a low middle income country. So this is how income is used for comparing nations and states. Now for comparison, we need to calculate per capita income or average income, which I have explained you in the previous videos also, that it is equal to total income divided by the total population of a certain area. If we are calculating the per capita income of a nation or of a country, we will take the total national income and divide it by the total population of a particular country, from which we will come to know about the average income or the per capita income. Now why this average income is preferred over the total income? Why not we simply take this total national income and we can compare the nations? But no, the per capita income or the average income is taken into consideration because of the following reason. Now we can say that it is preferred over total income, that is per capita income or average income is preferred over total income, as the comparison of total income will not tell us what an average person is likely to earn, since countries have different populations. As we know that the number of countries have different number of, or you can say have different populations, because of which if we will consider the total income, we will not be able to come on the conclusion that what an average person is likely to earn. But through this per capita income or the average income, we are able to know that what an average person is earning. So that is why this average income or per capita income concept is preferred over the total income concept. Now according to the World Development Reports by World Bank, that is World Bank is taking this income or the per capita income for comparing various nations or for classifying the nations among the rich countries or the low income countries. Now according to 2016 data, what they have said, that rich countries are those whose per capita income in US dollar is $12,236 per annum, that is annually. If the average income is 12,236, that country will be taken as the, or will be regarded as a rich country. On the other hand, if we talk about low income countries, these are the countries whose per capita income is US dollar 1005 or less than that. Those countries will be regarded as the low income countries. Now this was according to the reports given by the World Bank in 2016. Now in your books might it be given 2017, so you have to learn this classification on the basis of your NCERTs. Now what about India? Is India a rich country or a low income country? Now India comes in the category of low middle income countries. As I told you that there are lower middle income economies as well as the upper middle income economies. Now India comes in the category of low middle income countries, according to which the per capita income of India according to 2016 data is US dollar 1840 per annum. Therefore India is taken as a low middle income country. Now next we will talk about the rich countries. Now the rich countries exclude the countries of Middle East and certain other small countries. Now excluding these Middle East countries as well as certain small countries, all the other countries are known as the developed countries or are the rich countries. Now these Middle East countries mainly include 16 countries as well as 3 continents, like you can say Iran, Iraq. These are the countries which are a part of Middle East. So excluding these countries, the other countries are taken as the rich countries or the developed countries. Now I would like to tell you about the recent data, that is as of July 2019, what the criteria has been followed by the World Bank for classifying the economies as low income or rich countries. So according to July 2019, the low income economies are whose per capita income is of US dollar 1025 or less than that will be taken as the low income economies. The economies with the per capita income of US dollar 1026 to US dollar 3995 will be taken as lower middle income economies. That is, the first range will be from 1025 or less than that will be low income economies. The second range is after than this, that is 1026 to 3995 will be taken as lower middle income economies, that is higher than these economies. After that, the third one is upper middle income economies. Now the per capita income of these economies range from, that is 3996 to US dollar 12,375. The per capita income of those economies, that is upper middle income economies, will range from 3,996 to 12,375 US dollar. And the last about the high income economies, these are the ones whose per capita income is of US dollar 12,376 or more than that. So the lowest one is low income economies, that is the per capita income of these economies is the lowest. After that, the range lies for the lower middle income economies. After that, the upper middle income economies, and the last one is high income economies. So this was the data about 2019, but the situation here is that you need to write down in your exams the data which is given in your NCERT. So this was just for your knowledge. So that is why I had explained you these ranges also. Now the next topic I have divided is besides income. Now what this means? Now, on the basis of only income, we cannot classify a country as a developed nation, underdeveloped nation, or developing nation. There are some other factors also which will tell us about the various conditions of a particular country. Suppose if we say that the per capita income of a particular state, let's say that of Maharashtra, is more than that of Kerala. But if we talk about the infant mortality rate, the IMR of Kerala is more than that of Maharashtra. So from this we may come to know that income is not the only factor on which all the decisions will be based. So therefore, besides income, there are some other measures or some other factors also according to which we can compare the various nations or states. The first one among that is infant mortality rate, then is the literacy rate, and third one is the net attendance ratios. I have discussed these three terms earlier in my first video of chapter number 1, that is development. So those who have not yet gone through that video, firstly go through that, and then you will be able to know about what is infant mortality rate, what is literacy rate, and what is net attendance ratio. Now about this ratio I would like to tell you something. Like I have explained in net attendance ratio that it is the ratio which is based on the age group of 6 to 10 years. Now in some books it is given that 14 to 15 years. So this ratio can be calculated on the basis of each and every age group. So whatever is given in your NCERT, so you must follow that only. If you will write 6 to 10, that will also be fine. If you write 14 to 15, that will also be fine. So what we came to know from this is that besides income, we can also compare the various nations or states on the basis of infant mortality rate, literacy rate, as well as the net attendance ratio. This will tell us about the educational facilities. Along with that, literacy rate will also tell us about the educational facilities in a particular state or nation, and IMR will tell us about the healthcare facilities of a certain nation. And the third parameter for comparison will be the income. Now the next topic is the public facilities. Now what is the public facilities? Basically these are the facilities which are provided by the government to the public of a particular nation. So here is a statement given which shows that money in your pocket cannot buy all the goods and services that you may need to live well. Obviously, it is very much right statement which shows that the money cannot buy each and everything which we need to live well. For example, pollution free environment. Can you buy pollution free environment with money? No, it is not possible. The second one is protection from infectious diseases. Now this depends on the immunity level of a particular person. So with money we cannot protect ourselves from these infectious diseases. Then comes is the unadulterated medicines. Now these are some of the examples which shows that money cannot buy everything which we need to live well. Now, various examples of public facilities may include infrastructure, sanitation, public transport, healthcare facilities. Now, what is the motive of learning these public facilities in this chapter? Now, what we want to say is that not only the per capita income must be the basis for the comparison of various nations, the availability of the public facilities or the availability of good public facilities with the people is also one of the measures through which we can compare various nations. Now let's say the per capita income of Punjab is greater than the per capita income of Kerala. But still the Punjab has higher infant mortality ratio than Kerala, which means that the public facility related to the health care might be more in Kerala than Punjab, which shows that income by itself is not a complete adequate indicator of goods and services that citizens are able to use. It depends on the various public facilities also which are provided to them in the form of healthcare facilities or educational facilities. Now the next one comes under public facilities is proper functioning of PDS. Now what is PDS? That is public distribution system. Now about this system we have read very well in our 9th grade. This is a system followed by the government through which they supply various goods to the needy ones through buffer stocks at a reasonable price. So the states which are having the proper functioning of PDS, their nutritional level will also be high, as the poor people or the needy people will also be able to satisfy their basic necessities of food. So this was all about the public facilities. The next topic is Human Development Index report by UNDP. Now this is the index, that is HDI Human Development Index is the index which was introduced by a Pakistani economist named Mehboob ul Haq with Amartya Sen, who is also a famous economist. Now this index is basically a composite statistic of life expectancy, education as well as per capita income. That is, we can rank various countries or compare various countries on the basis of the Human Development Index, which is calculated by considering the three parameters or by taking out the geometric mean of these parameters, which includes life expectancy, education and per capita income. And this report is prepared by UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program. From these parameters we may come to know about the human development of a particular nation, and we can make comparison of different nations. Now the detailed explanation of this concept will be done in the next video. So this was all about the introduction of Human Development Index and the previous topics which we have studied. I hope that all of you are clear with all the concepts we have studied till now. Thank you so much.